Day 1, 7:53 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Blue's hands still trembled from the force of the strikes. On her hands and knees, she shoved the accursed hammer out of her sight. Her dog tag swung beneath her chin, dripping. Blood, her best friend's blood, soaked the entirety of her front. For the first time in years, her wits had abandoned her. A ragged scream tore from the depths of her gut, reverberating off of the bare chamber walls. Tears, mixed with blood, burned her eyes, and the smell, God, the smell, clung to her lungs, thick and metallic. Laurie's lifeless body lay face down on the pedestal, mangled beyond recognition. The floor beneath them curved into a smooth convex shape. 13 shallow channels branched outward in intricate, sprawling designs. Laurie's blood seeped into them, carving crimson pathways through the marble. A faint glow pulsed beneath the surface. Blue squeezed her eyes shut, anything to avoid the sight of the pulverized corpse before her. But beneath her lingering sobs and the echoes of her own scream, another sound emerged. A low, vibrating hum emanating from the floor itself. Just the floor. 10 minutes before. We have to, Laurie had told her. No, there's always another way. We just have to find it, Blue argued. Laurie, despite never having served in the military, was the bravest soul she'd ever met. Laurie exhaled, unwavering. We have our solution. We have to activate this. It's the only way. She pointed at the carvings etched into the ceiling, ancient depictions of the ritual. This is it, and I can't do it alone. No, Blue barked, her usual control fracturing. Laurie didn't flinch. Look, we're out of time. It has to be a generatrix, and I'm the only one here. Her voice was disturbingly calm and completely devoid of fear. A shiver crawled up Blue's spine. Do you know what this thing is going to do to you? She demanded. Her fist clenched. She wanted to grab Laurie and shake some damn sense into her. We don't even know what the hell this thing does. Laurie held her ground. We can do nothing and let everyone in the world die, or we can try this and my kids might survive. You always told those boys you'd never let anything happen to them. Her voice tightened. Now I need you to prove it. You have to put me into this thing. Blue's chest tightened. Of course, Laurie wasn't afraid. Every move she'd ever made had been for those boys. Every white knuckle, phobia facing, stomach churning choice, always for them. Right now, we have demons raining from the sky. The secret's out, and shit's going down, and there's not enough of us to stop them. Laurie turned sharply and strode toward the pedestal. Now help me. Blue clenched her fist. She took a deep breath, then pushed off the ground, ascending toward the ceiling weightlessly. She hovered there a moment, staring at the hammer embedded in the stone. She recognized the material immediately. Astatine, contained within an argon and xenon lattice barrier, and without that barrier, the astatine would decay within hours. Her fingers curled around the haft of the hammer. The moment she touched it, gravity reclaimed it. The hammer broke free from its reliquary with a deafening crack. Blue guessed its weight, over 700 pounds. As the dust settled, seraphic script glowed along the handle. The Maw. Blue swallowed hard. A wave of nausea curled through her gut, worse than any purge she had ever performed. Beneath her, Laurie climbed onto the pedestal. She grasped the metal handles, aligning the sharp, hollow tubes to her wrists. Blood. She rested her chin in the cradle, exposing her throat to another spiked tube. Breath. Her knees settled over two more, the final set aimed for her kneecaps. Bone. Blue descended slowly, setting the maw against the floor with deliberate care. She stepped toward her friend, the closest thing to family she had ever known, and wrapped her arms around her. She pressed a kiss to the top of Laurie's long red hair. Please, Laurie whispered, voice cracking. Take care of my boys. Blue stepped back, her breath unsteady. She grasped the maw again, adjusting her grip. She wouldn't screw this up. Tears burned her eyes as she watched the rise and fall of Laurie's back. Laurie's shuddering betrayed her emotional fortress. Blue raised the hammer, engaged her core, and brought it down onto Laurie's left wrist. The bone shattered on impact. Blood pooled instantly, spilling down the side of the pedestal. No sound. Blue forced herself to move. If she stopped, if she thought, she would break. She walked around to the other side. Laurie whimpered a little. Blue lifted the maw and then swung. The floor pulsed with light. She stepped towards Laurie's feet. Laurie's breath came in short gasps now. Her arms trembled. She adjusted her stance and aimed for the base of Laurie's skull. This time there was sound. A wet, distorted whistle. A gargled, sucking noise. Blue clenched her jaw. It was almost over. She swallowed the bile in her throat and considered the next strike. Should she aim behind the knees? Directly at the hips? Her stomach lurched and she gagged. No, no stopping. She raised the hammer and struck behind Laurie's knees at a 45-degree angle. The whistle peaked in pitch. Blue moved faster, praying for mercy. Please, God, let her die quickly. One more. One last strike. Blue released the hammer the moment it landed, letting it swing backward, striking her across his collarbone. She collapsed to the ground, but it wasn't the weight of the impact that took her down. Not the physical weight, anyway. She screamed. She screamed at no one, yet she screamed at everyone. At every ungrateful, self-absorbed parasite they'd ever saved, only to watch them walk away, treating others like garbage. At every selfish, godforsaken mortal who couldn't follow the simplest of directions without twisting them into some opportunistic, self-serving scheme. She screamed at a world too broken to be worth saving. Lilith started sounding a lot more reasonable. 20 years ago. Show me their worth. Lilith's taunt echoed in Blue's mind. If they're so worthy, show me their worth. It should be easy. The first time Lilith started to make sense. Blue lay in the hospital bed, completely mortal from the pregnancy. Pain dulled her senses, but the emptiness inside her was sharper than any blade. Her husband walked in, whole and unharmed, while she lay there shattered. Their baby was gone, and he was still alive. The only way he could have lived was... The world seemed to slow, pausing in a cruel mockery of grief. Not really. But Lilith didn't need reality to stop. She could slip into Blue's mind with ease. She didn't need long. Well, what do we have here? Lilith's voice slithered through Blue's consciousness. Isn't this fascinating? How did he ever survive? Blue clenched her jaw, her breath shallow. Leave me be. Just because you can't handle reality doesn't mean you need to ruin mine. Lilith chuckled, a sound like dried leaves scraping over stone. Your reality is that your bonded mate was unfaithful, that he broke your bond. The Omniscentia didn't need subterfuge to murder your child. They just needed to wait for your husband to falter, to make you mortal. Blue's pulse thundered in her ears. Lilith's voice softened, almost pitying. I'm not ruining your reality, darling. I'm simply confirming it. Then, as suddenly as she had entered, Lilith vanished. The silence left behind was deafening. Blue snapped back to reality. Laurie's body still drained, but the whistle, that godforsaken whistle, had finally stopped. At least she wasn't in pain anymore. God, Laurie, what am I supposed to do? The blood streamed down the convex floor in 13 separate channels, a crimson network glowing against the bright, pulsating surface. Beneath Blue's bloodied hands, the floor felt wrong, shifting, vibrating. She wasn't imagining it. The floor was moving. A voice echoed up through the channels. What the hell is going on up there? Tiffany's voice carried from below, sharp with concern. Blue forced herself to her feet, floating down into the subchamber. The moment she emerged, the expressions of Tiff, Sonia, and Kennedy drained. Jesus, Kennedy breathed. Where's Laurie? Sonia's face hardened, solemn and knowing. Their eyes dropped to the spear at the center of the room, its base now surrounded by a thickening pool of blood. It was spinning, just slightly, almost imperceptibly. Blue swallowed back bile. Her lips curled somewhere between a grimace and a laugh, a reaction teetering on the edge of hysteria. Her face, streaked with blood and tears, twisted into something raw. She's gone. Kennedy's auguric gaze sharpened, piercing into Blue's mind before she could even brace for it. A breathless step back. Tiffany bristled. Where the hell is she? She hated being the one left in the dark. Blue exhaled sharply, her voice shaking with fury. She's up on the pedestal. The instructions said she had to sacrifice herself to activate whatever the hell this thing is. Her anger lashed out, and she stomped her foot against the sphere with a resounding crack. Blue! Sonia stepped in, steady as ever, wrapping an arm around Blue's trembling frame. The weight of it sent Blue collapsing to her knees. Kennedy followed, crouching beside them, wordlessly anchoring her. Tiff wasn't listening. She was already rising. Jesus, help me! Tiffany's scream shattered the chamber's silence. Blue's head snapped up just in time to see Tiffany struggling, clawing at Laurie's lifeless body, desperate to wrench her from the pedestal. Blue shot upward, intercepting her before she could do any damage. Sonia and Kennedy were right behind her. She has to do this, Tiff. Blue's voice was firm, but her grip was gentle. Tiffany thrashed in her arms, breath ragged. Don't you tell me that bullshit! Kennedy's sharp eyes flickered to the carvings, where the seraphic script pulsed in the chamber's glow. Her voice was softer but absolute. Tiffany, there is no other way. It had to be a generatrix. It had to be Laurie. Blue's voice dropped, her frantic edge tempered by exhaustion. This was the only way she could protect her boys. Tiff wrenched free, staggering backwards. Her chest heaved, her hands clenched into fist. Bullshit, she spat. What the hell is this thing? Blue exhaled slowly, forcing herself to stay calm. I don't know, but every time I've encountered seraphic instructions, they've been right. She shook her head. They're not great about explaining why. Tiff's glare burned into her. Then, without another word, she turned and dropped back into the subchamber, landing hard with attitude. Blue, Sonia, and Kennedy hovered for a moment, exchanging glances. Their grief between them was thick, raw, but something else pulsed at the edges of their consciousness. Then they heard it. Not Laurie, not the chamber, not the blood still draining into the sphere. Their comrades. Something had changed outside, and whatever they left behind when they entered this damn chamber, it had gotten immensely worse. A whale-sized demon had just plowed into the subway station at 12th Street in Oakland City Center. Skitter demons were pouring down into the second and third floors like a flood of ravenous insects. Tiff's voice cut through the static of their shared consciousnesses. Let's go! She bolted through the entrance tunnel, flying like a bullet. Blue didn't hesitate. She shot forward, pushing harder, passing everyone else. Sonia and Kennedy followed, right behind them. Behind them, deep within the chamber, 13 evenly spaced vertical slits began to form along the surface of the sphere.